on this. What's today? Wacky Wednesday? You already know we right here at work decided to hop on top of it with an individual seat was the talk of the town. It's going down. The word on the curve, you heard me. Whoopsie. All right. Here in Southern California, we are having a beautiful day today. Wanted to hop on and see what's good with the folks and the lokes. What's good with everybody that's out there. Okay, we're set up now. Now, oh, Mr. Pasa, Philly up in the casa for the raza. What's good, my boy? Hey, it's crazy what Trump, is doing, no? To the White House. No other president besides him decides to come and fuck shit up. Bro's tearing down a part of the White House to build something that nobody's going to use and nobody asked for and is completely fucking useless. You want to know why nobody has ever putting a ballroom in the White House before? It's because the White House is not a place for people to come and chill and hang out and party. The White House is a place of business and important matters to be discussed. Not fucking a place for people to fucking be having the time of their lives. You get what I'm saying? And then people be like, because I'd be like, it's crazy what our taxpayer money is going to. And people be like, no, it's gonna be paid for with donations. Like, yeah, because people are really gonna be donating to Trump. Now, why should I believe Trump when he says that it's gonna be paid with donations? He said at first when he was gonna put the ballroom that it wasn't gonna be affecting the White House. He was not gonna touch the White House. Nothing was gonna be happening to the White House. It's gonna be next to the White House, so nobody has to worry. As soon as the project went into action, right, they started tearing down the White House or part of the White House. After he had just said that nothing was gonna happen to the White House. You see what I mean? It's like, bro, motherfucking lies all the time. So why should I believe him that our taxpayers' money's not? Yeah, just like Mexico was gonna pay for the wall, huh? Like how can people be that stupid and keep falling for this shit? Like, we're paying for that ballroom dance shit. Like, that was a trip, man. Fucking government shut down. People don't know how they gonna pay their bills. And this motherfucker's over here wasting our money on a fucking White House. No mames los güeyes. Se pasan de verga, no? Gonna get me some teriyaki beef bowl. Damn, that's right. With some fries. Damn, my boy. From where? That sounds fucking chingon. Yeah, Trump needs to be removed ASAP. That was out of hand. What's cracking like a little rich? What's good, my boy? What up, my boy? The answering the hater was on point. If he did get it, then yeah. And you know what? He's lucky I did the video because he was talking all kinds of shit and he was calling me all kinds of names. He's lucky I even fucking decided to do it. But just to show that I'm not petty and that I'm willing to debate people when they come and their opinions, right? That I'm not gonna like shy away with it, like, oh, this was right, so I'm not gonna speak on it. You know what I mean? Like, come on now. Like, he really could have got his point across without having to fucking call me all this and that. You know what I mean? Because I don't even do that. Like, I didn't come on and never fucking call them out in their names, right? But he's gonna call me out of my name. Like, okay. And it's like, I get it that some people get like upset or whatever, like that's their favorite YouTubers, right, or whatever, right? But they act like if I'm trying to come and convince them of otherwise. I'm merely answering the questions I'm asked. It's my opinions. I'm asked, so I give my answer. Right? Just like when, like, if they were to ask their, if he was to ask them a question and they answer, right? So why is it wrong when I do it? You can't fix stupid. See, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I'll give them the fact that I don't know if they're dumb or not. Maybe they were just in their feelings. I don't know. What's cracking like in Drunken Chef is definitely the building. Go subscribe to Drunken Chef's channel for some chingon recipes. Yeah, but I don't know. People get all worked up in their feelings. And I'm telling you, like, people be like saying like, all this good that they do, right? And it's like, where? Like, are you sure you're watching the same content? I think that people are hella acting immature. Yeah. They act like if I'm coming and like fucking calling them out of their name and making all these allegations on them. You know what I'm saying? And the genuine points that I try to make, right, are valid, right? When I come and I say like why I think that individuals' true motives are this, because everything is showing that, in my personal opinion. But like I've always said, those are my opinions. I never try to say and come and act like if they're facts, right? I always say in my opinion, not like yeah, that is what it is. You know, it's just I don't know. People are tripping. What's up, bro? I really like your latest video. The one of today. Have you heard of the rapper If Nasty from King Cobras? Yeah, actually, I have. I have actually heard, been peeping out his music even before he hit the mainstream. I have a homie from King Cobra who actually put me up on game about his homie that rap, and that was a while back ago. He used to send me some like before he had even uploaded stuff to the internet. The homie used to send me some of his flows. My calculus class, math has really been getting on my nerves. I have the feeling I'm going to fail. Oh, bro, you should never feel like that. You should have confidence in yourself. High speed chase. Like going crazy. Oh, I know. You heard him? Yeah, I know. I've seen them just go down right now. And they were in Putiza too. I was like, damn. And in reality, they're just going on their lunch break, huh? They just turn on the fucking sirens just to get there faster. Hey, I wouldn't doubt sometimes they bust that my mother. I have seen them do that shit, like where they have their sirens and they're going down fast, bro. And then I'll see them at the gyms, like what? Like sick ass fools. Not the gym, the Jim's Burger, the hamburger place. I keep forgetting that not everyone lives in SoCal, right? So they don't know what Jim's is. Jim's is a hamburger place. It's a burger joint. There's several of them in LA County. Actually, there's a lot of them. Actually, the hater something exactly like those might have been either in a fake account. No, the way he was just writing and words he was using. Look, individuals that try to fake accounts and fake stuff like that, right? They won't be able to get rid of all their traits, especially if they're talking about something that's making them emotional, right? Like if they're in their feelings, right? They're not going to be able to hide their identity even like that, right? Meaning in certain words how they spell them, if they use emojis, if you know they add spacing, certain phrases, you know, it'll show up on their. Everyone has a pattern to them, bro. Even those who try to change their won't completely be able to change everything about them. It's kind of like when somebody commits a murder on somebody, right? And they try to text the family with the murder person's phone, right? Acting like if that's them, and their family could recognize that that's not them because that's not how they talk or how they write. You know what I mean? Like that's some real shit, and that's something that a lot of people, you know, always leave out. That's why when they say that people can commit murder or whatever, right? They mean it in that sense, right? Because, well, first of all, people don't know how they're gonna feel once the moment comes, right? So they start to panic, right? So they're gonna end up making mistakes by forgetting about shit like, oh damn, they normally don't put LOL or they don't put this or that. You know what I mean? Because their mind is just racing at that time. It's very hard for somebody to keep their composure, especially when something traumatic happens, like incidents like that, right? That's what I mean. When people are in their feelings, it's hard for them to be able to stay focused on their plan, on their agenda. Everything has clues to it, bro. You just gotta look for them. That's why I say I'm really good at being able to read individuals. Signing from VPR. did 2 songs with it. Oh, serio? All right, I'm gonna have to scope them out. God is great. Enjoy your day, brother. Hey, gracias. I appreciate that. I hope you enjoy your day as well. I have a feeling it was Jose guy under an account. No, because he doesn't write like that either. You know, I kind of have a good idea of how he phrases stuff already. That guy, because he's on my lives a lot, right? So I'm able to tell kind of, you know, like his get down. And you know, normally Jose's like when he's coming and trying to do stuff like that, it always revolves around like the prison stuff and the like organizations. You get what I mean? You know, normally it's always focused around that, like the meaning and the topic. So it would have been mentioned somewhere on there. Even if I fail, I retake next. Yeah, and you can't be afraid of failing either, right? Because like I said, you know, now we just know where to improve on, what to work on, hit it harder, and you know, it's only gonna make us better. You know what I mean? Because we can't let failure, scare us off from like improving ourselves, right? Once we start dwelling on that kind of mindset, then that's when we just start to fall apart. How's it living in Cali, bro? I'm from Florida. I want to live there one day. Yeah, living in Cali is pretty much like living anywhere else. I could imagine. The only difference I would probably say, like let's say, well, living in a city, like in a big city. The only thing I would probably say that is probably different is that it's more jam packed full of people. Like there's just so many people, like a gang of people, right? And there's just a bunch of little like businesses everywhere, right? So privacy is not an option, right? It could be three in the morning, 4 in the morning, 5, whatever. You see all kinds of people walking in the streets and just doing stuff. It's never like you. It's rare when you can actually hit a street and there be absolutely nobody there, right? We're not hearing some kind of commotion. So peace and privacy is definitely not something that you'll get. So that's probably one of the main differences, probably I would say. And there's a lot of crime. I wouldn't say that it's out of control, crazy, right? But you do have a lot of people doing all kinds of stupid shit, though. I fuck with you, bro. You just speak truth, not even your truth, just plain truth. A lot of people have grew up level-headed. Look, I'm how can I say? I'm level-minded on the internet. On the internet, there's nothing I could do when somebody's trying to disrespect me or if somebody's coming aggressively, right? Because I don't know who this individual is, first of all. I don't know where they're at. They could be in a different country for all I know, right? So it would be just a complete waste of time, right? So I'm more like level-minded, like let's say on the net compared like if I'm on in person, right? Like I can say something like about an individual, like let's say like break down his scenario and situation, right? Respectfully, but I could also be disagreeing with the choice, right? Like I would have done different. I wouldn't have done that, but that's just my opinion. You get what I mean? If there's no need for the disrespect, then why disrespect? You know what I mean? That's why there's people that think that I come and I condone or I sympathize with individuals. Like let's say if they fall off or some shit like that, right? It's not that. Breaking down something is completely different from condoning it and sympathizing with it, right? I would have done different. I wouldn't have chosen that, but it was his decision. What can anybody say after that? What can anybody do after that? Not a goddamn thing. So what does it matter? You know? What it is that if people see it some type of way, they expect me to come on here and to be insulting and talking shit about the individual. But what do I get out of that, though? Is it looking stupid and foolish on the internet, right? Because that's not down, that's not tough, that's lame and stupid, and nobody does that. You know, because it's like if you're trying to push the gangster narrative or the gangster mindset or being gangster, but you're on the internet and talking shit to people on the internet, no gangster does that. Gangsters do it in the streets. They handle business. They're just not gonna talk and say shit. So why would you expect people to come on here to be dissing fools and talking shit and, you know, like, kind of gangster behaves like that? You know? It's almost like they lose themselves in the illusion. I don't know. People are a trip. You know, too many people add emotions into stuff. Like, it's cool. You can debate people. You can respectfully disagree, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that you're sympathizing with them or condoning it or how can I say agreeing with their point of views. It's funny how some people think spamming your inbox will get. Oh, no lie, bro. There's some individuals that get out of hand with that kind of shit, though. You know, like there's some people that, and I know that they mean good, right? Because they're, you know, sometimes there'll be like a legit question, so they mean good, right? And it's like I'll get to it, you know, eventually. You know, it's just that other questions probably are ahead, right? And I like to be fair, you know. But yeah, there's some people that just be like spamming, and I'm just like, what the hell? Like I don't mean out of control. Like I'll have like thousands of emails, right? But to me, like if I wake up and there's like 50 emails, to me that's a lot. You know, just because I'm not used to that kind of shit. So that's why when I say a lot, like 50, like, oh, 50 is not a lot. A lot, it's like hundreds. Like, well, it's a lot to me. You know what I mean? Because I wouldn't even think people care that much, you know, for my opinion. It's just getting to everything. But sometimes it's a little bit of a challenge, you know, but I try. Like, I don't just say it just to toot my own horn. Like, I say it just because to me, it's just like, I still find it like unbelievable. Like, because who the fuck am I? Did you catch the Trump AI video of him throwing poopa protesters and being a king? He's one of the. Yeah, I know. I seen it was on his main thing. That is so childish, bro. Like for him to do that instead of being like the president of the United States, right? Like this is your country, right? You're leading it, and you see all kinds of people, your people, protesting your decisions on there. And instead of like seeing the reason behind it, the understanding, and coming and addressing the matter, like, oh, okay, it seems like a lot of people are upset. How can we fix this problem, or how can we get on the same page? He instead chooses to waste his time and make it an AI video where they're dumping shit on the people that are protesting. So that's what he thinks about his people and their voices. Doesn't care about them. Yeah, he's telling people he cares about the American people. No, you don't. You just fucking shit it all over them. You don't care about them. That in itself proves that you don't care about your people that you're leading. That you don't care about America. You only care about how you see stuff, what you think, and only you. You get me? When a president's supposed to take the people's voices into consideration, that's why they voted you into office, you dumb fuck. So not caring about what they have to say, like it's like the most stupidest way to go about things. But he can't see that because he acts like a child, bro. Like if he's a fucking eighth grader, you get me? Like that's something that they would find funny and something that an eighth grader would do when somebody's like bullying or going against what they're saying, right? It's some childish shit like this, you know. I had seen was in Nino America. He had put imagine like individuals having absolutely nothing better to do than to be out there protesting Donald Trump, you know? Like, imagine that, he said. And I go, well, imagine a president, instead of fixing his country and trying to fix the economy, open back the government and stuff like that, instead, he's wasting his time making an AI video where he's shitting on people. Imagine that. You know what I mean? Like, who's really the ones that are wasting their time? You know? Like, come on now, bro. You wanna critique these individuals, right? This man's job is more important. So I think what he's doing on his time is a little bit more impactful than these individuals, no? Right? Bro, stop playing. You still on that shit. Where did you see the picture? Most organizations don't allow the stuff, especially not the South. Which one? What are we talking about? They weren't shooting us anymore then. Or like pictures of like the gay Southsiders or that people say. Look, there's no such thing as gay gangsters. You know, the reason I say that is because as soon as the gang finds out that these individuals are homosexual, they will be outcast. They wouldn't be no longer members of the gang. So they are no longer gang members because they've been outcasts from the neighborhood. So accepting and allowing and there being able to be individuals like that in gangs is if the gang is aware that these individuals are homosexuals and they allow them to, you know, and still could claim the gang and stuff like that, right? That is allowing stuff, and that is how you truly have gay gangsters, right? But as soon as people find out and they're outcasts, can you say that they're gay gangsters if they're no longer part of the gangs no more? You get what I'm saying? It's really that easy. Now people can say that because they want to paint these guys as bad people, or they want to make fun of them, or make them look bad, right? But just because you want to make somebody look bad and that's the narrative you want to push doesn't necessarily make it true, though. That's how you can feel about it, right? But it don't make it true, though. You know, because individuals wouldn't be like, "Hey, cállate para acá, that's cool." You get what I mean? Silent Plays video game. They stream live. ¿Oh, serio? I'm from the Big Bad Legends gang? Serio? And that's another thing. Like, people don't refer to people as legends, though. That's something that the individual does, or the way he goes about it, right? But it's not an actual title or something that people use as a narrative. Like I said, I have never once heard anybody refer to them as that. The Hoodstar TV was cracking like my boy. I sent mine. I was in the shoe. Serio? Shoes for less? Nah. Chicano Street TV. Tapping in on the. Hey, I sent mine, carnal. There's still a shoe, right? Shoes for less? Pay less shoes? Where's the house? The hardest of the hard. Apparently at Dub's house, from what people say. Only Dubs and Gunner refer to prison guys as legends. And that's another thing, though. Like, if they move past that, and that's what I mean, though. It's like the message that they're saying that they're putting out there, it completely contradicts what how they carry themselves and what they speak about. That's what I don't understand. That's when people come to me and be like, they're trying to do good, man. These individuals are just respect, everything like that. And it's like, from where? Like, where are you getting that from? Like, where do you see that at? Because he said it in the beginning of the video. Oh, the video where he spent then the next 17 minutes talking shit about everybody? Oh, okay. Like, just because you say something at the beginning of your video doesn't mean that that's your feelings or the pushing, right? If somebody gives you if somebody says that they're looking to put out a message, what is the message? And then they come on here and they say that their message is for everybody to get along and to peace on earth, right? So that was like about what, 15 seconds, right? And then he spends another 20 seconds. Then he spends another 20 minutes talking shit about people and how fuck them and all their fucking lames and everything. What was the true message of his speech? The 15 seconds of saying peace and harmony, or the 20 minutes of how people should hate this person and fuck them and lames? And then what is the real message behind the speech? People could say stuff, but that doesn't mean that that's their fucking narrative or if that's their true motive, right? The true motive is where they spend the majority of their time speaking about. That is what they're trying to hammer home. That is what they're trying to do. That is their true motive. The motive is wherever they spend the most amount of time on. So the negative. So they're negative people. You can't say somebody's positive just because he spent 15 seconds being positive and then fucking an hour being negative. Then he's a negative person, not a positive one. Positive people spend the majority of time being positive. That's what makes them positive people. Negative people spend, those who manipulate will spend the least amount of time on the being respectful, on the being humble part, and the most part in being the manipulators. But people think just because somebody says something nice that makes them the true, good guys. Why? Because it's what they want to hear. They don't want to feel like these individuals are taking advantage of them. They want to believe that they're able to see the bullshit, that they're not dumb, that they're not stupid, that they didn't fall for it. That's why for them to see that these people are wrong is difficult for them, because it's admitting that they weren't able to see it, that they got fooled, and that they just weren't able to pick up on it. So they don't want to feel dumb. That is the reason why they still keep defending their bullshit, because it is, admitting to being able to see, people's errors. It says more about them than it does about the actual individuals doing the manipulation. So they don't defend them because they like the individuals, but more in the sense that they don't want to be wrong. But I've seen people under inboxers comments calling him a legend simply because the life is. You know what? You know why people do that now? Because they heard Dubs refer to them as legends, and they probably watched Dubs' channel, and that's the reason why they refer to them as legends now. They're probably people that actually watch his content and probably support him. Is the reason why they probably refer to him as that now. But they're looking to put out a different narrative about these people. But you see how their narrative is coming across to actually people who support their channel? The opposite. But hey, they can say what they want, no? They were right side by side with the vato with the biggest brosha. Funny story about Payless shoes. I lost my phone. I was shopping at the shoes for Christmas party when I was. Oh yeah, Payless shoes was the shit, my boy. That was the best. So drunk Budweiser. I feel like some pregnant lady who was also shopping there stole your phone. Damn, probably people are savage. Would you do it live with Renegade Media? No, I wouldn't. The only reason why I say I wouldn't do it live with individuals like that is our point of views don't line up. How he lives his life and what he chose to do is just not how I see things, right? So since our views just don't line up, there would be no purpose for having the conversation. Like there would be no reason for us to speak like that. You get what I mean? Doesn't mean I'm gonna come and disrespect the individual or tell people, don't watch him or stuff like that, right? It's just that our ideologies just don't line up. You get what I mean? Not only that, but most individuals, like let's say that would want to do videos together, right, are only going to want to do videos for reasons that I'm not willing to do videos about, right? which is speak about putting in work and doing shit like that. It's not meant for shit to go on the internet. It's just about that. I don't ever come and speak about none of that shit on my channels, right? Like, oh yeah, homie, I remember when I was right here and I was rolling up and smashing. Why would I do that? Why would I speak on that? To look tough? To look gangster? The fuck do I care for that shit for? On the internet. You get what I mean? And that's what they're going to want to speak about. Shit that I just don't want to speak about. Because it doesn't belong on the internet. So then what would be the reason for our conversation at that point? You know? We can talk about other stuff, right? Like, let's say, political views or non-gang related stuff, but that's not what people want to speak about. And I know this because I have talked to individuals who have wanted to collab together, right? Well, what about we speak about this? I'm not going to touch on this and this and that. And then there's no collab. So clearly they wanted to go somewhere where I wasn't willing to go. What do you think about Gunner's Collective? I think he's fraudulent. And at first, I actually did interview the individual, you know, on my channel. When I first started YouTube, before I knew anything, right? Because individuals lied, right? But that's cool, right? Because it only showed their true character, right? But then, like I said, I started catching on and picking up, you know, on, you know, the inconsistency, right? And then I was emailed the paperwork, and then from there I took down the video, you know, because it only showed his manipulation and his lies. Because even though he says that he tells people it's up, that's not true, you know. As one of the first questions I had asked him, he's told me that he was in good standings, that he had never fell off, and, you know, that he still associated himself and blah, blah, blah. But clearly we can see that that wasn't true now. To me, it was just wild. Like, why would people lie about some shit like that, though? You get what I'm saying? It just doesn't make any sense. Like, if people aren't going to find out. You get what I mean? Like, why would you lie, though? That doesn't make any sense. You get what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to lie and pretend to be something, why pretend to be something that you do nothing? You know what I mean? If you're going to fake being something, fake being a doctor or a fucking lawyer, and fake being a gangster. People don't pretend to be homeless, right? They don't come on here and claim to be homeless when they're not. Well, unless they're con artists, right? But meaning in a sense to gain some type of, you know, recognition from it. So why would they claim to be that, though? That's why motive to me means that his motive is that he wants to be seen as that. That's one of the main driving forces of why he does his content. He wants to be recognized and seen as gangster. For whatever the reasons are. I don't know what the insecurity reasons may be behind that, right? But clearly something. Maybe he doesn't like how his story ended and he's trying to rewrite it. I have no idea, but that's a personal problem. All right, ladies and gentlemen, my lunch break is over. We got to get back to it. It was good chopping it up with you guys, and we out.